This is a Browns team that has so much talent, but they've yet to put it all together in one complete package. You expect the Browns to start clicking this weekend against the Rams?
Well, they better start. I mean, I'm not supposed to be looking at the schedule as a former player, but every once in a while, you take a little peek out there on the yonder and see what's out there.
On the yonder.
Yeah, nothing but bad news for them. It's that time. We're going to give teams mostly 4 weeks. But, man, you can start getting into dangerous territory. In the first month of the season, you go 1-3. I didn't like Baker's comments about the Rams saying this should be a good test because I want some consistency. Every week he should be saying it's going to be a good test. Yes, the Rams did go to the Super Bowl. Yes, they have been double-digit win teams the last couple seasons. Yes, this will be a good test. But so were the Tennessee Titans week number 1. Now, the Tennessee Titans team I saw last night, that's the team that whooped you in week number 1. So I'm concerned about the overall physicality because, yes, they've gotten a lot of headlines this offseason. Baker, Odell, all these little shiny little things. Football's a game of physicality. In the first 2 weeks of the season, I have not seen the Cleveland Browns be the type of physical team that they were the second half of the season when Freddie Kitchens took over, where they were running the ball down people's throat. Their offensive line was one of their strong suits. No, not that way. They're not running the ball effectively, and that offensive line has been a tremendous liability, which has led to Baker getting off to a sluggish start. So physicality is a huge part of it. And they got a lot of little star players and everything. But if they're big people on that offensive line and they don't play a little more discipline without all those penalties, they will not win. And you can watch this fan base that's trying to get behind this team that has witnessed them lose a lot of games. You let them go 0-2 at home, barely getting past a Jets team that the quarterback's out with the high school kissing thing. And
next quarterback gets injured in the game.
Yeah, he tears ligaments in his ankle. He's out for the season. So it could get real scary as far as Baker because they won't have any support. Let this game get out of hand. Watch what the Cleveland fans do to them, and this could be ugly. That's that tough part, Jenna, that we were talking about before the season. What do they do when they go through a bad month of football? Because they're so young.
And to your point about what they have coming up, 5 straight games against 5 teams that are right now all 2-0. Rams at Baltimore, at San Francisco, home for Seattle, at New England. So this is the meat of their season right here, the most difficult stretch of their season. And if that's 5-game stretch, only 2 of those games are at home. So you want to take advantage of that. Your point about Baker, to misquote, if I may, Marshall Mathers, will the real Baker Mayfield please stand up?
I know what you
this
did
is
there.
thank you, Jenna. Real Slim Shady. There
Yep.
you go. Exactly right.
What's up?
I mean, this is not the guy I saw the last half of last year.
No.
This is not the guy that I said could be a dark horse MVP candidate. This is not a guy that is taking full advantage of the most talent he's had on a roster in his young NFL career. Now, we saw he and Odell hook up nicely in that Jets game, and I know that he's running for his life some, so it's not entirely his fault. But Baker Mayfield's got to be better. The reason, in my estimation, that they are not right now 2-0, even if it would be an ugly 2-0, is because of that just atrocious quarter of football he played against the Titans. They had grinded back into that football game to only be down 2 points with the ball against Tennessee, and then all of a sudden you have 3 straight interceptions, including a pick 6, and the season gets off to a terrible start. Yeah, they're going to have to block Aaron Donald. But the truth about the Rams defense is they've got Aaron Donald. They have 2 corners with great names and good ability. And aside from that, that defense can be had. Carolina scored 27 on them with a hampered Cam Newton. Like, the defense last week was a bit, to me, a little different because the Saints lose Drew Brees middle of the game. That offense is going to come to a grinding halt. So I think the defense can be had if you can block Donald. And Aaron Donald, by the way, his last 5 games,
hasn't done much.
0 sacks, 13 pressures. So while I'm sure he's freeing up other people, Dante Fowler's come on this season. Like, he's making it easier for other people. If you can block Donald, you should be able to move the football. And that's what I'm relying on the Browns to do because the talent on this team, they have talent on both sides of the ball, but you've got a top-flight wide receiver, another very good wide receiver, and a player that I believe is going to be a top-flight quarterback. He just hasn't shown it yet.
You look at this Browns team, yeah, they were mired in penalties. They've got issues on their offensive line, and then there's Baker Mayfield. So just stick with Baker, because that's Baker. It's the popular topic right now. Break down what he's not doing right or what he could be doing better. Is it just that he's holding on to the ball too long? Is he not reading coverages? Just give us an idea of what he's doing that is different from what he did last year.
Well, as Nick stated, he had an awful quarter. He made a couple bad throws, trying to force balls in the tight spots. So it is a coverage recognition thing. But if he doesn't have a clean pocket, the reason why we love Baker from the abbreviated season #1 was he's so accurate with the football. And that has not been there. It's hard to be accurate when you can't step into your throws. And OBJ is not the reason, Jenna, why he's playing bad. OBJ is playing to the level that we've seen him. He was the only bright spot in that loss to the Titans in week #1. He was outstanding on the Monday night game. So, to me, clean up the pocket, which starts with the running game. When Freddie Kitchens took over last year, we didn't know what they were going to do. But their identity was Nick Chubb, run the ball, play action pass, Baker Mayfield, and his accuracy. Now they have OBJ. Are they falling too much in love with trying to throw the ball down the field compared to solidifying that offensive line, which we see a lot of teams struggling with their offensive line play early in the season, Nick?
And that is in this game, just to flip the sides for a moment, that is where the Browns should be able to take advantage of the Rams to a degree. We have seen this year already defenses starting to adjust to the Goff-McVay combination. You've seen teams, if you watch the NFL game rewinds of these, even if it's tough to see in real time, defense is waiting until there's less than 15 on the play clock and then doing a bunch of shifting, waiting until McVay can't give Goff the cheat codes anymore and then trying to confuse him. And you've got 2 second-year players starting on the offensive line for the Los Angeles Rams. We know the Browns have 3 very solid defensive linemen, including one superstar in Myles Garrett, even if he's penalized too often, even if he's committing too many penalties, I should say. The Browns defense is going to have to hold up its end of the bargain in this, but they've done that through 2 weeks. It doesn't seem like it because the first week the Titans scored 40, but that game they had 15 going into the fourth quarter, and then the floodgates opened because of the turnovers. The Browns defense was extraordinary in week 2. Browns defense going to have to keep that up, and it is up to Baker and the offense to hold up their end of the bargain.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.